The city was quiet that night. Cold wind touched the empty streets, and most people were already warm in their homes. But Zion had no home. His bed was the hard sidewalk. His blanket was a torn hoodie. He was only 16. Zion sat on the corner, near a gym that stayed open all night. He had been watching the building for 2 hours. Lights were still on inside, but the crowd had left. Only one janitor was mopping the floor. Zion's eyes followed him carefully. He knew he had to move. Soon. His stomach growled. He hadn't eaten since yesterday. A small packet of biscuits was all he had. But that was gone now. His hair was messy, his clothes were dirty, and his shoes had holes. People passed by earlier, but no one looked at him. He was invisible. He looked through the gym window. Warm lights, clean floors, water, showers, towers, even the smell of soap floated in the air when someone opened the door. Zion closed his eyes and remembered something. A small bathroom in his old house. His mother brushing his hair. That was before everything changed. Before she disappeared. Before his father died. Before the streets became his only friend. The janitor walked out. Zion's eyes opened. The man lit a cigarette and stood near the back gate. This was his chance. Zion pulled his hoodie low, walked fast, and slipped through the side entrance before the door closed. His heart beat like a drum. He hid behind the locker shelves. His body shook, not just from the cold, but from fear. He didn't want to get caught. Not again. He moved slowly through the hallway. The lights were dim now. He walked past mirrors and workout machines. Everything looked shiny and expensive. Zion had once dreamed of lifting weights, playing sports, going to school. Now he only dreamed of hot water and one clean towel. He found the locker room door open. The shower area was just beyond it. He looked around. No one. He walked in, his hands shaking. The tiled floor felt warm under his feet. The air was filled with steam. He opened one of the taps. Hot water came out. His eyes became wet, not from the steam, but from emotion. He took off his hoodie and stood under the water. It was the first warm shower he'd had in months. Dirt washed away. His body relaxed. For a few minutes, Zion forgot he was homeless. He felt human again. But then, a voice broke the silence. "Hey, what are you doing here?" Zion froze. He turned slowly. A tall man in a black coat stood at the door. He looked serious. His eyes were sharp, and his arms were crossed. He was not a trainer. He was the owner. Mr. Remen. Zion didn't speak. His lips trembled. Water dripped from his face, but he felt cold again. His heart sank. He had been caught. Mr. Remen stepped forward. "Do you work here?" Zion shook his head. "Then why are you in my gym?" he asked, his voice calm but firm. Zion tried to speak, but no words came out. Mr. Remen pulled out his phone. "Should I call the police?" Zion panicked. "No, please. I just needed a shower. I'm not stealing anything. I swear." His voice cracked. He covered himself quickly with his torn hoodie. Shame filled his eyes. Mr. Remen looked at him for a long moment. He didn't press the call button. Instead, he lowered his phone and walked closer. "You're homeless?" he asked softly. Zion nodded. "How old are you?" 16, he whispered. Mr. Remen sighed. He looked at the boy's thin arms, tired eyes, and bruised feet. Something inside him paused. "What's your name?" "Zion. Do you have family?" Zion looked down. He didn't answer. There was silence. Then Mr. Remen said, "Get dressed. Come with me." Zion's legs felt weak. He didn't know what would happen next. But he followed. Mr. Remen led him to the small office at the back of the gym. He gave Zion a towel, a protein bar, and a bottle of water. Zion took it with both hands, eyes wide in disbelief. "Eat," Mr. Remen said. Zayan opened the wrapper and took small bites. He hadn't tasted anything so fresh in weeks. He looked up slowly, unsure if this was real. "I'm not giving you a place to live," Mr. Remen said. "But if you clean the gym every night, I'll let you use the showers. You'll get some food, but no stealing, no lying. Understand?" Zion nodded quickly. "Yes, sir. I promise." Mr. Remen looked into his eyes. "One lie, and you're out." "I won't lie," Zion said softly. He looked around the office. There were trophies. On the shelf, a family photo on the wall. A happy life. Zion felt something move in his chest. Hope a tiny spark as Mr. Remen left the office. Zion took out a small folded photo from his pocket. It was old and faded. A picture of a smiling woman. His mother. He whispered to it. "Maybe. Things are changing, Amy." But outside, the wind still howled. The night was still cold. And somewhere deep inside, Zion knew this was just the beginning. Because people don't offer kindness without reason. And Mr. Remen had his own story. One that would soon change both their lives. Zion woke up early the next morning. His body sore but his heart a little lighter. He had slept behind the gym in the narrow alley, cold wind brushing against his legs. But still, he felt better than most nights. There was a reason to wake up now, a chance. He waited until the sky turned light gray, then quietly walked to the side door of the gym. Mr. Remen had told him to come back by 7. Zion didn't want to be late. As he entered, he saw Mr. Remen already inside, placing fresh towels on the racks. He looked up, nodded once, then pointed to a mop and a bucket. Zion understood. No long talks, just work. He grabbed the mop and started cleaning the locker room. At first, he was clumsy. The mop slipped from his hands. Water spilled too much, and he bumped into a bench. But he didn't complain. Mr. Remen watched silently from a distance. An hour later, when Zion was wiping mirrors in the hallway, Mr. Remen called him over. He handed him a plate with toast and a boiled egg. Zion stared at it, unsure. Eat, Mr. Remen said, then walked away. Zion sat on the edge of a bench and ate slowly, carefully, as if it might be taken away any second. He saved half the egg in his pocket for later. After breakfast, Mr. Remen gave him a small list. Vacuum the floor, wipe the windows, stack the shoes left near lockers. Zion worked all morning, sweating but focused. No complaints. Around noon, Mr. Remen handed him a fresh t-shirt. Wear this, yours smells like a trash bin, he said. Plainly Zion blushed but took it with gratitude. For the first time in weeks, he wore something clean. In the afternoon, Mr. Remen sat behind his office desk, writing some papers. Zion stood near the door, unsure if he should leave or stay. Mr. Remen looked up and said, "Where do you sleep?" Zion hesitated. "Outside near the back wall." "It's not safe," Mr. Remen said, thinking, "Don't sleep inside the gym, but I'll keep a blanket for you. Use the storage room near the alley. No one uses it. Just for the night." Zion's eyes widened. "Thank you, sir. Don't thank me. Just don't break my trust." Zion nodded quickly. He wanted to say more, to explain his story, but something held him back. A kind face like Mr. Remen's could disappear if he said the wrong thing. That night, after finishing his work, Zion found the storage room. It smelled of dust and cardboard, but there was a blanket neatly folded on a mat. He lay down quietly, holding the half-boiled egg from his pocket. As he closed his eyes, a soft smile touched his lips. For the first time in months, he felt like someone saw him, like he was more than just a boy on the streets. Days passed. Zion became better at cleaning. He learned how to organize towels, how to use the vacuum without tripping over the wire, and how to greet the members without making them uncomfortable. Most people ignored him, but a few nodded politely. One trainer, a tall man named Razi, always looked at Zion with suspicion. He whispered to another trainer once, "Where did this kid come from?" Zion heard it, but said nothing. He kept his head down. One evening, Mr. Remen handed Zion a paper. "This is a simple workout plan. Start doing it when you finish cleaning." Zion was shocked. "Me, you're here every day. Might as well use the gym after hours. No excuses." "You're still skinny," Zion grinned. "Yes, sir." He started with light stretches, a few push-ups, and short runs on the treadmill. At first, his body hurt, but it also felt good, like he was becoming stronger, inside and out. A week later, Mr. Remen found him finishing his routine late at night. "You're improving," he said, handing him a small bottle of juice. Zion took it, surprised. "Thank you. You used to play sports?" "I liked football in school, but that was before ... He stopped. Mr. Remen didn't push. "We have a small team here. Maybe one day you can join a practice game." Zion smiled that night. While resting in the storage room, he took out the old photo from his pocket. The edges were torn. The woman in the picture had kind eyes and long hair. His mother? He whispered, "I'm trying, Amy. Maybe someone finally cares." The next morning, a gym member complained that his protein bars were missing. Then another said her locker was open. Razi immediately pointed a finger at Zion. "You let a street kid stay here. What did you expect?" Mr. Remen's eyes narrowed. "We don't accuse without proof." But tension filled the air. Zion stood silent, his hands shaking. The feeling of being unwanted returned. Just when he thought he was safe, the world reminded him he was still the outsider. Mr. Remen checked the security cameras. Zion stood with his heart pounding, afraid of what would show. The footage loaded slowly. Mr. Remen stared at the screen, his eyes sharpened. Zion held his breath. Then, Mr. Remen leaned back and turned the monitor toward everyone. Zion woke up to the soft light coming through the small window in the storage room. His body was sore from the previous night's workout, but there was a strange feeling in his chest piece. He folded the blanket neatly, washed his face quickly, in the gym restroom, and got to work. Mr. Remen had already placed the cleaning list on the front desk. Zion read it carefully and started wiping down the machines. He now knew which sprays to use, which towels to fold a certain way, and how to finish quickly without missing any spots. Mr. Remen had not only given him shelter, but had slowly started teaching him discipline. After an hour of cleaning, Mr. Remen walked in, handed Zion a banana and a boiled egg, and said, "Start with this before your training." Zion smiled and nodded. "Thank you, sir." After breakfast, Zion changed into the spare gym t-shirt and began his exercises. His push-ups were stronger now, his legs quicker on the treadmill, and the tiredness he used to feel was being replaced with energy. Mr. Remen watched him silently from a distance. That day, more people seemed to notice Zion. Some regular gym members smiled at him. One older man even said, "You're here every day. You must love fitness." Zion only nodded. He didn't know how to explain that he didn't love fitness as much as he loved feeling normal. But not everyone was welcoming. The trainer Razi still watched him with narrow eyes. He didn't say anything, but Zion could feel the tension. Later that evening, after Zion finished cleaning the back office, Mr. Remen called him in. "Come sit," he said. Zion sat across the desk nervously. Mr. Remen placed a paper between them. "These are the gym rules. I want you to read them." Zion nodded and began reading aloud. "No stealing, no lying, respect everyone, keep the gym clean, be honest, be on time." When he finished, Mr. Remen said, "You're not just cleaning now, you're becoming part of this place. Rules are important not just here but in life." Zion nodded again. "I understand." "Do you?" Mr. Remen asked seriously. "Because once you break trust, it's hard to get it back." Zion lowered his head. "I won't break your trust." "Good," Mr. Remen said. "Because I'm thinking of letting you help at the front desk 2 times a week. You'll learn how to deal with customers." Zion's eyes widened. "Really?" "Yes, but it comes with more responsibility." "I can do it," Zion said quickly. "I'll learn." Mr. Remen gave a small smile. "We'll see." The next day Zion began his new duties. He stood behind the counter and greeted people politely. He watched how Mr. Remen spoke with clients, how bookings were written down, how payments were recorded. Zion paid attention to every detail. In the evening, after everyone left, Zion sat alone in the office and looked at the front desk register. He ran his fingers over the names and numbers. This was the first time in his life someone trusted him with something important. Days turned into weeks. Zion became stronger, sharper, and more confident. He still slept in the storage room, but now he felt like he belonged somewhere. Mr. Remen had started asking him questions about school, about his interests, and sometimes even made jokes with him. Zion slowly opened up. He told Mr. Remen that he used to be good at math, that he loved football, and that he once dreamed of becoming a sports coach. Mr. Remen listened carefully. Then one evening, while locking the gym, he said, "You're smart. You should be studying." Zion looked down. "I dropped out last year. No one to pay fees." Mr. Remen paused, then said, "Let's see if we can fix that. First, you have to prove you're serious. Help me organize a weekend football session for kids. If that goes well, we'll talk about school." Zion felt a lump in his throat. "I will. I'll make it the best class ever." That weekend, Zion spent hours preparing. He cleaned the mini field behind the gym, arranged cones, made a list of drills, and even practiced how to explain rules clearly. On Saturday morning, 5 kids showed up. At first they were loud and distracted, but Zion handled them with patience. He showed them how to stretch, how to pass the ball, and how to play fair. Mr. Remen watched from a distance. Zion was smiling. He wasn't the scared boy hiding behind lockers anymore. He was leading, teaching, shining. After the session, one little boy hugged him and said, "You're a great coach." Zion nearly cried. That night, Mr. Remen handed him a notebook and said, "Start writing again. Keep track of your days. Learn, think, grow." Zion nodded and wrote his first entry before sleeping. It said, "Today, I felt like I mattered." But just when everything felt right, trouble returned. One evening, a member accused Zion of scratching his car in the parking lot. Razi was quick to say, "I told you, sir." The boy's bad luck. Mr. Remen didn't speak. He walked out and checked the camera footage. It clearly showed another car brushing past and driving away. Once again, Zion was innocent. Mr. Remen turned to the group and said, "Anyone who judges without proof should be careful. Not everyone on the street is bad, and not everyone with a car is good." Zion stood quietly, but inside, his heart swelled with something he hadn't felt in years: dignity. That night, as he lay in the storage room, he held the photo of his mother and whispered, "Ami, I'm still fighting. I don't know where this road leads, but I think I've finally found the right people." In the shadows of a gym, in the corners of a city that forgot him, Zion was rising. One rule, one step, one clean shirt at a time. The next few days passed quietly. Zion had found a routine: now wake up early, clean the gym, eat the simple breakfast Mr. Remen left for him, and then train for an hour. Afterward, he helped at the front desk or organized the equipment room. Every day felt like a small step forward. Mr. Remen didn't say much, but his eyes watched everything. He noticed how Zion folded the towels neatly, how he greeted every member with quiet respect, how he wrote down attendance with care. He saw something in the boy, something broken, but not beyond repair. One evening the gym was unusually crowded. A few new members had joined, and the energy in the building was loud. Zion worked double to keep things clean and organized. In the middle of the rush, Mr. Remen handed Zion a few files and said, "Put these in my office. Be careful, don't mix them." Zion nodded and walked quickly to the office. As he entered, he paused. For the first time he noticed the photo frames on the shelf. Most were of gym events, but one picture caught his eye. A woman with kind eyes, standing next to a younger Mr. Remen. Her smile looked familiar. Zion's breath stopped. He took a step closer. It couldn't be, but it looked just like her. The same face in the photo he carried in his pocket. His mother. Could it really be her? He wanted to ask, but his chest tightened. What if he was wrong? What if Mr. Remen didn't even know her? He placed the files carefully on the desk and walked out. That night, as he lay on the thin mat in the storage room, he pulled out the worn-out photo he always kept with him. The edges were curled, and the colors had faded, but the smile was clear. The woman in his picture was the same woman in Mr. Ramon's frame. "Mammy," he whispered. "Who were you to him?" The next day, Zion worked quietly. He didn't mention anything, but questions buzzed in his head like bees. Who was Mr. Remon to his mother? Did he know where she was? Could he have answers? Zion had searched for all these years. That evening, Mr. Remon handed Zion a key. "You've earned it. It's for the storage room. You don't need to knock anymore." Zion looked at the key, then at Mr. Remon. "Sir," he said hesitantly, "can I ask something?" Mr. Remon nodded. Zion pulled out the faded photo from his pocket and showed it to him. "Do you know her?" Mr. Remon took the picture and stared at it for a long moment. His face changed. His eyes blinked fast, and his hands trembled slightly. "Where did you get this?" he asked, his voice softer than usual. "She's my mother," Zion replied. Mr. Remon looked at him as if seeing him for the first time. "Your mother's name?" "Amna," Zion said. "Amna Sikdikwi." Mr. Remon slowly sat down, holding the photo close to his chest. Silence filled the room. "She was my best friend," he finally said. "We went to college together. She was like family." Zion's eyes filled with tears. "Do you know where she is now?" Mr. Remon looked down. "No. She disappeared years ago. One day she left, and no one heard from her again. We searched, we waited, but she was gone." Zion wiped his face. "My father said she left when I was 5. He passed away last year. I've been alone since then." Mr. Remon leaned forward. "You've been carrying this pain alone for so long." Zion nodded. "I kept hoping someone would know her. I didn't know coming to this gym would lead me here." Mr. Remon placed a hand on his shoulder. Maybe this meeting wasn't just luck. That night, Mr. Remon opened an old box from his closet. Inside were letters, photos, and memories from the past. He handed Zion a letter written in soft handwriting. "This was the last letter Amna gave me. She said if anything ever happened, I should find her child. I never thought I would." Zion held the letter with shaking hands. It was addressed to him. The paper was yellow, but her words were clear. She had written about her love for him, about how proud she was, and how she hoped he would grow up strong. Zion cried silently. Mr. Remon didn't say anything. He just sat beside him like a quiet guardian. The next morning, Zion worked with a new energy. His heart was full, but also heavy. He didn't know if his mother was alive, but at least he knew she had loved him. The gym lights flickered gently as the evening crowd began to leave. Zion wiped down the machines, trying to keep his focus on work, but his thoughts were heavy. Ever since that strange man visited, he hadn't felt the same. He kept remembering his face, the way he stared at him, the way he followed him months ago near the bus station when Zion was still living on the street. Who was he? Why was he suddenly showing up here? Mr. Remon noticed the worry on Zion's face. After the last member left, he sat beside him on the bench near the treadmill, still thinking about that man. Zion nodded. "He gave me a bad feeling. Like he knows something I don't." Mr. Remon sighed. "We'll be careful. I'll ask one of my friends in the city office to look into it. For now, don't talk to strangers about your past. Just stay close to the gym." Zion nodded, but he still felt unsure. That night, after cleaning, he returned to the storage room and opened his small bag. He took out the old photo of his mother and the letter Mr. Remon had given him. Her words felt like a soft whisper in the silence. "Stay kind, even when the world isn't." He folded the letter carefully and held it close to his heart. Sleep came slowly, and even then, it was filled with shadows. The next morning, Mr. Remon had a surprise for him. On the office table was a small package wrapped in brown paper. Zion opened it carefully. Inside was a brand new school notebook, 2 pencils, and a used math textbook. "You're going to start studying again," Mr. Remon said. "Just an hour every day. I'll help you. It's time to wake up that smart brain of yours." Zion smiled wide. "I thought school was over for me." "Nothing's over unless you stop trying," Mr. Remon replied. They started that evening. Mr. Remon explained equations and asked questions. Zion listened carefully and answered with confidence. Slowly, numbers and formulas began to make sense again. Each page he completed felt like a tiny victory. Days passed, like this mornings spent cleaning and training, afternoons helping with the kids' football practice, and evenings learning in the office. Zion felt alive. He even started helping other kids with homework after football. "You'd make a great teacher one day," Mr. Remon told him once. Zion laughed. "Me a teacher? Why not?" Mr. Remon said. "You've learned the hardest lesson of all, how to survive with a good heart." But the peace didn't last. One rainy evening, as Zion was locking up the back gate, he saw a black car parked across the street. A man was inside, watching. It was the same man from before. Their eyes met for a brief moment before the car drove off. Zion ran inside, heart pounding. "He's back," he told Mr. Remon. Mr. Remon stood up and made a phone call immediately. "I think I know someone who can help us," he said. The next day, Mr. Remon introduced Zion to an older man named Inspector Shaw. He had kind eyes and spoke with calm authority. Mr. Remen told me about your situation, he said. I'll try to find out who's following you, but I need your help. Tell me everything. Zion hesitated, then slowly began to share his story, how he lived on the streets after his father died, how he was always on the move, how the man had approached him once, pretending to be a social worker, but had strange questions about his mother. Inspector Shah listened without interrupting. When Zion finished, he said, I'll run his photo through our database, but be ready. If he's looking for something, he might come back. A few days later, Mr. Remen received a call from Inspector Shah. After the gym closed, he told Zion to sit down. The man's name is Jamil. He used to work for a private investigator who handled adoption and missing person cases. He's been trying to track down women who disappeared years ago. Your mother's name is on one of his files. Zion froze. So he's looking for her. It seems so, but not for a good reason. He's been paid by someone, maybe someone from your mother's past. We don't know yet. Zion gripped the edge of the table. Is my mother in danger? We don't know if she's alive, but if she is, he might be trying to find her for reasons that have nothing to do with helping. Mr. Remen leaned closer. That's why we need to be smart. I want you to stay here, in the gym, no matter what, and I'm going to try to trace your family, or real family. Zion blinked in surprise. You mean, I've already reached out to an old friend who used to know your mother? She might help us. That night, Zion couldn't sleep. His mind was filled with 100 questions. Who had hired that man? Where was his mother? Why had she left? And what would happen if she was found? A week later, Mr. Remen came into the office with a look Zion had never seen before, hope, mixed with fear. I found her sister, he said. Your aunt? Her name is Sophia. She lives in another city. She didn't know where your mother went either, but when I told her about you, she cried. She wants to meet you. Zion stood still. She remembers me. She said she held you when you were a baby. She's been looking for you for years. Zion felt the ground shift under his feet. A family member who hadn't forgotten him, a living connection to his past. Mr. Rahman placed a hand on his shoulder. She's coming next week. If you're ready, Zion nodded slowly. I think I am. But deep inside, he wasn't sure. Would she accept him after all these years? Would she believe he had survived all alone? Would she love him, or would this be another goodbye? Only time would tell. But for now, he had something he hadn't had in years. A name, a face, and a chance at a new beginning. The week passed slowly, every day stretching longer than the one before. Zion tried to stay busy cleaning, training, studying, but his mind kept wandering back to the same thought. She was coming. His aunt, his mother's sister. A woman he couldn't even remember, but who had remembered him. The idea felt too big, too strange. What if she didn't like him? What if she changed her mind when she saw who he had become, a street kid trying to start over? Still, a part of him held on to hope, the same small hope that had carried him through cold nights and hunger. On the morning of her visit, Mr. Remen told Zion to take the day off. Just rest, he said. You've done enough. Zion cleaned the storage room anyway. He folded his blanket, wiped the floor, and even washed his spare shirt twice, scrubbing every corner like it would change who he was. Around noon, Mr. Remen came to him with a soft smile. She's here. Zion's heart thumped loudly in his chest. His hands were shaking as he followed Mr. Remen to the front of the gym. There, standing by the entrance, was a woman in her late 40s, dressed in simple clothes. Her eyes scanned the room nervously until they landed on Zion. For a moment, they just stared at each other. Then she stepped forward slowly. Zion, he nodded. She covered her mouth with her hand, tears spilling down her cheeks. You look just like your mother, she whispered. Zion didn't know what to say. He wanted to hug her, but something held him back. Fear, maybe. She stepped closer and opened her arms gently. Zion moved forward and let her pull him in. Her arms were warm, like safety. He hadn't felt a hug like that in years. They sat in the office afterward, and she told him everything. How his mother had left home to escape a dangerous man. How she had tried to stay in touch, but disappeared without warning. How the family searched for her, but never found her. We thought she took you and left forever, Sophia said. Then your father told us she abandoned you. We didn't know what to believe. She didn't abandon me, Zion said quietly. She left, and then my father raised me. He died last year. I had been alone since then. Sophia held his hand tightly. You're not alone anymore. Mr. Remen stepped out to give them space. Zion and Sophia talked for hours about the past, about his mother, about the kind of boy he had been before the streets took everything. Sophia cried when he told her about the nights he slept near trash bins, the times he ate from leftovers, the time he thought of giving up. I'm so sorry, she said. We should have found you sooner. It's okay, Zion said. I have survived, and now I have you. That evening, Sophia asked to see where he had been sleeping. Zion hesitated, then led her to the storage room. She stepped inside, looked around at the thin mat, the old shelf, and the bag of clothes in the corner. Her face crumpled with sadness. This isn't a place for a child to live. It's better than the street, Zion said. Mr. Remen saved me. She turned to him and smiled. He's a good man. You're lucky. Zion nodded. No. The next day Sophia returned with a small bag. Inside were clothes, a framed picture of Zion's mother from their childhood, and a note. "Your mother gave me this the last time we spoke," she said. Zion opened the folded paper. It was a small note, written in neat handwriting. "To my Zion, if you ever find this, know that I love you more than anything. Never let the world break your kindness." His hands shook as he read it. The tears came silently, falling onto the words. Sophia placed a hand on his back and whispered, "She would be proud of you." That night, Zion couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the note, the picture, the warmth in his aunt's hug. For the first time, he was starting to feel whole. The next morning, Mr. Remen called Zion into the office. "Sophia spoke to me," he said. "She wants you to come live with her. Proper home, proper bed, school nearby. What do you think?" Zion looked down. He had dreamt of a real home for years, but now that it was in front of him, something felt heavy. "I don't want to leave the gym," he said softly. "You won't lose this place." Mr. Remen said, "This gym will always be here for you." Zion settled into his new life with a mix of excitement and nervousness. Sophia's house was small but warm. The bed was soft, the meals were hot, and for the first time in years, he had a real room with a window that opened to the sky. Every morning, the smell of paratha and tea filled the air. Sophia always greeted him with a smile and packed his school bag herself, just like a mother would. Zion had never felt so cared for, but deep inside, he still carried the fears of his past. School was difficult at first. He was older than most kids in his class, and many students gave him strange looks. Some whispered behind his back, "That's the boy who lived on the streets." One girl said. Zion heard it, but he didn't react. He had learned to ignore cruel words. He sat quietly, studied hard, and slowly, his teachers began to notice. He was smart, respectful, and serious about learning. Sophia helped him with homework, cooked his favorite meals, and told him stories about his mother. She brought out an old album filled with pictures, his mother laughing, dancing, playing with her younger sister. Zion couldn't stop staring. "She was the strongest person I knew," Sophia said one night. "You have her eyes, her strength." Every weekend, Zion returned to the gym. Mr. Remen welcomed him like a son, giving him small jobs and encouraging him to continue his football coaching sessions. The kids loved him. They called him Coach Zay. Zion felt proud. He was building something, slowly and steadily. But peace never lasted long. One evening, as he finished training the kids, he noticed a familiar car parked near the corner of the street. His heart skipped a beat. It was the same black car. The same Jamil was behind the wheel, watching quietly from the shadows. Zion froze. He turned quickly and rushed into the gym. "Mr. Remen," he said, breathless. "He's back." Mr. Remen didn't wait. He made a call to Inspector Shah immediately. "Stay inside," he told Zion. "Let me handle this." The police arrived within minutes, but the car was gone. No sign of Jamil, just the tire marks on the wet road and a strange feeling in the air. Inspector Shah listened carefully and said, "This man is dangerous. If he's watching again, he's planning something. We need to be ready." Mr. Rahman added more cameras around the gym and asked Sophia to take extra care. Zion started avoiding walking alone. The fear returned. Every time a door creaked or a car slowed near the house, his heart jumped. Sophia noticed. "You're safe here," she said, holding his hand. "But we'll stay careful, always." A few days later, Inspector Shah called with new information. "We know who hired Jamil," he said. "It was someone from your mother's past, a man named Shabir. He had a long criminal record. Your mother filed a police complaint against him years ago, then vanished." Zion felt a chill. "Why is he looking for her now?" "We don't know," Shah replied, "but he might believe you know where she is. That makes you a target." Mr. Remen and Sophia sat down with Zion that evening. "We can't stop living because of fear," Mr. Remen said, "but we must be wise. We'll do whatever it takes to protect you." Zion nodded. "I'm not running anymore. I have people now. I won't let anyone take that away." He focused harder in school, trained harder in the gym, and led his football sessions with even more passion. He was becoming stronger inside and out. The kids looked up to him, the teachers praised him, and for the first time, Zion saw a future he never believed was possible. One Saturday, Mr. Remen surprised him with a small event. "It's a youth sports day," he said, "and you're the guest coach." Zion stood before a group of young players, parents, and visitors. His voice trembled at first, but then it grew stronger. "I know what it feels like to be lost," he said, "but I also know what it means to fight for your life. Football taught me teamwork, respect, and courage. I want to pass that on to every child here." The crowd clapped. Mr. Remen smiled proudly. Sophia wiped a tear from her eye. After the event, a man approached Zion with a business card. "I run a youth football foundation," he said. "We'd like to offer you a part-time coaching internship. You have something rare, Hart." Zion looked at the card, stunned. "Thank you, sir." That night, as he sat with Mr. Remen and Sophia, he said, "If someone told me a year ago that I'd be here, I wouldn't believe them. You earned all of this," Mr. Remen said. Sophia nodded. "Your mother would be so proud." But even as they smiled, a shadow still lingered. The man who was looking for Zion hadn't stopped. He was out there, waiting, watching, and Zion knew deep down the past wasn't finished yet. One evening, Zion found a letter slipped under the door at the gym. No name, no return address. Just a short message. You have something that belongs to me. Soon, I'll come for it. Zion's hands shook as he read it. He took it straight to Mr. Remen, who read it silently, then looked at Zion with steady eyes. We won't let him win. Zion didn't sleep much that night. He stared at the ceiling, clutching his mother's picture. I'm not afraid, he whispered. Not anymore. He was no longer the homeless teen hiding in the shadows. He was a fighter, a coach, a student, and a survivor. And whatever was coming next, he was ready. The air felt heavier after the letter arrived. Zion couldn't stop thinking about it. The threat was short, but it said everything. Someone dangerous, knew where he was, and now it was only a matter of time. Mr. Remen and Inspector Shah took immediate steps. The gym's security was upgraded. Cameras were added near the entrance and back gate. Sophia had stronger locks installed at home, and a neighborhood watch group was informed quietly. But Zion couldn't help feeling the silence before a storm. Despite everything, he stayed focused. School, training, football sessions. He kept going. The fear was there, but he didn't let it control him. I'm not the same boy I used to be, he told himself. I have people now. I have purpose. One afternoon while Zion was heading home from school, a van drove slowly beside him. The window rolled down. A man's voice called out, Zion. Zion froze. It was Jamil. He didn't stop walking. The van moved closer. We don't want to hurt you, Jamil said. We just want something your mother left behind. Come with us. It'll be quick. Zion's heart pounded, but his feet moved faster. He ran into a nearby grocery store and shouted, Call the police. Jamil cursed and sped off. Within minutes, Mr. Remen and Inspector Shah were there. This isn't a game anymore, Shah said. They're trying to take you. That night, Zion sat at the dining table with Sophia and Mr. Remen. Why are they so desperate? He asked. What could my mother possibly have left behind? Mr. Remen thought for a moment. Years ago, she was involved in helping women escape bad situations. Maybe she had documents, evidence, something that could still hurt someone. Sophia suddenly gasped. Wait, there was a notebook. Your mother had a red notebook. She told me if anything ever happened, I should keep it safe. Zion's eyes widened. Do you still have it? Sophia stood up and ran to her old closet. She opened a wooden box and pulled out a faded red notebook, tied with string. It looked worn, the edges yellowed. I forgot all about it, she whispered. Mr. Rahman carefully untied the string. Inside were names, dates, addresses pages, and pages of handwritten notes. Stories of women who had escaped abuse, hidden shelters, a network of protection. This is it, Shah said, scanning the pages. This is what they're looking for. This book could send Shabir to prison for the rest of his life. Zion stared at the notebook. My mother, she wasn't running from fear. She was fighting it. We have what we need, Shah said, but it's going to get dangerous now. They won't stop until they know they've lost. The next day, Shah submitted the notebook as evidence. Police launched an investigation into Shabir and his network. News spread fast, but it also meant more risk. 2 nights later, while Zion was asleep at Sophia's house, a loud bang shook the door. Someone tried to force their way in. Sophia screamed. Zion jumped up. Before they could panic, flashing red and blue lights lit up the street. Police sirens rang out. Officers rushed in, catching 2 men in the act of Gamil and another accomplice. It was over in minutes. They were caught, arrested, and taken away. The next morning, Shah came by with the final update. Shabir's been arrested. We found more evidence in his house. The women your mother helped will finally get justice. Zion let out a long breath. A weight he had carried for so long lifted off his chest. Mr. Riemann smiled and patted his back. Your mother's fight is over, Zion, and you finished what she started. Sophia hugged him tightly. She would be so proud of you. In the following days, news about the arrest spread. The media shared parts of the story about a mysterious red notebook, about a boy who survived the streets and helped bring a criminal down. Reporters came to the gym asking for interviews, but Zion refused them all. I don't want to be famous, he told Mr. Remen. I just want to live. Mr. Remen respected that, but quietly, he framed a newspaper clipping and hung it in the gym office. The headline read, Homeless teen helps uncover decade-long crime network. Zion's life slowly returned to normal. School became easier. His football classes grew. Parents started asking if he could train their kids more often. One evening, Mr. Remen sat him down and said, It's time you have something that's yours. He handed Zion a certificate and keys for your football academy. We're opening it right here. You'll be the head coach. Zion stared at the certificate in disbelief.